Yep, good call.
Good evening, ladies and germs.
Hi, it's iRacing commentator David Haynes. In 2019, I'm excited to be bringing coverage of the ChampCar Sim Series, the sim racing division of the ChampCar Endurance Series. Contested across 15 championship rounds using the 2015 Mazda MX-5, the winners will receive a free entry into a real ChampCar Endurance Series race in the 2020 season. Each points round will be broadcast live by HJBC. Head to forum.champcar.org for full information and schedule. Sign-ups are open, so get registered now. Best of luck, and I'll see you at the track.
Shut up and sit down.
ChampCar Sim Series, a series that will be awarding its winner a drive in a real endurance race next year. Well, it comes to one of the circuits that ChampCar visits, the Charlotte Roval. This is one of the trickier races we're going to have all year. This circuit does not forgive. There is walls, there is high curbs everywhere. We have a 1 hour race ahead of us. And it is going to be not only a matter of speed, a matter of strategy, it's going to be a matter of survival. I'm David Haynes, our producer is Michael Derby, and alongside me is going to be Aaron Thacker. Aaron, we're in qualifying right now, 6 minutes to go. I'm not sure how important qualifying will be for this one, but maybe you don't want to start too far back in the pack.
Yeah, David, you definitely don't want to start too far back in the pack, as there are plenty of big old straightaways on this track. And this car, though low powered, my goodness, does it cut a hole in the air. And these guys are going to be riding the wave of some very beneficial draft, David. But you're going to have to be smart with your passes tonight, because as you said, this track can bite you.
Yep, lots of cars leaving the pit lane right now. We'll see. Maybe we'll grab one to ride on board with, because there is maybe about one corner of this circuit where if you run wide, you're not instantly going into a wall. Some of the most difficult sections of this circuit, not only the infield, which surprisingly for a Roval has a little bit of undulation, almost some blind corners there. Very, very difficult, but coming back onto the oval section, difficult. The backstretch chicane, as we like to call it, the snake pit, so difficult. It's one line through there, you put one wheel off, and it is either sending you up in the air off the curbs or into the outside wall. And you can only get away with that once in this race before your night just might be over. So this could really be a turning point in the championship.
Yeah, it really is, and you really called out the main area of this track where I think we're going to see some issues. David, we've had the pleasure of calling a race here at this track already this season, and in that last race, David, my goodness, did we see that section you just called out take a whole slew of drivers, and also we're going to see some guys try to be bold and possibly go side by side, and my goodness, that is not the section you want to do it, because it is hard enough going through that section at almost 110 miles an hour by yourself.
Yeah, and in these cars, it's so close to going flat out through there, but it just isn't quite. A word about the weather: we're using that really great time that you can do with a fully floodlit circuit like this. The sun is just setting now. It's going to get a little bit darker on circuit, but not too much. So it'll be great conditions for racing. It'll be pretty cool track temperatures, which will mean plenty of grip. How will the drivers use it though? I think the best overtaking opportunity will be into the final chicane on the front stretch, because if your rival doesn't quite get the line they want through the backstretch chicane, you can close up a lot of ground through NASCAR turns 3 and 4 as you come towards the last corner. That's your bravest passing opportunity, I would think.
Yeah, that you really called out there. That's going to be the best opportunity. And David, one guy that is already finding some of those opportunities is Ross Banfield. He has moved his way into P1 with a smoking 126.394, a full 2/10 full of ahead of John D. Allen. So, David, we are seeing some very quick times on the track right now as the sun is setting. Track is likely cooling, and we have some headlights on these cars too.
Yeah, so we're right on board with Ross Banfield because John D. Allen is doing very, very well in the points standings right now. He's one of your title contenders, and he was at the top of the timing pile for quite a while, and Ross Banfield has put in a mega lap to take that away. He's just come through that section of corners that is so tricky. It's the sort of third and fourth apexes of that there, where if you're a teeny bit offline, those curbs, they'll upset the car and maybe send you into the wall, but on their own can damage a car. He's got a teeny bit of traffic in front of him through the final chicane. Let's see what that does for this lap time. I think it might have been an out lap or not a valid flying lap, but he'll have 2 minutes left. That's enough to at least get one more lap on the board. He'll have to worry about that car in front of him though.
Yeah, and I have popped back to Alex Albert, who is really trying to work his way up the points here. He's currently in P4 with a 126.9. That is a full 6/10 off the podium spot. Alex is coming through the back section here in this very, very steep banking. He is by himself, but Alex Albert, again, no green sectors, David, so I don't know if he's going to best himself. And we see Tyler James moving up to P7. So with this about a minute and a half left, we see these guys really making some final moves here, trying to work their way up to an optimal starting position.
Yep, so a 1 hour qualifying session as well, but we are seeing plenty of times change in the dying minutes. I think John D. Allen might have just improved his time, but not his position, not enough. Alex Albert crosses the line. 27.7 is not an improvement for him. He crossed the line with 1 minute to go, so he'll have one final flying lap. Traffic is looking a little difficult out there right now for him. Not going the way he wanted, but it'll be the same in the race for sure.
Yeah, I'm watching Alex Albert. He's really trying to put a lap together. Oh, David, he almost gets hit by Brian Cheney there, trying to work his way around the track as well. So I worry that Alex Albert's final effort to put down a real quick one may have been squandered by a bit of lap traffic here, David. But I think that Ross Banfield is going to hold on to this one with taking that extremely fast lap. Even though, yeah, as you said, John D. Allen did put a personal best up his last lap.
Yeah, Alex Albert's overcooked it, trying to come back onto the oval. And that's a difficult one because obviously the wall is right there on the outside, but it's such a critical corner to carry a lot of speed through. So it leads you back onto the oval, and you carry that speed for quite a while. It's make or break with not much margin for error, and that's also true of a lot of the corners. The time runs out. Every driver who's on a lap will get to finish it, but there's only a few drivers that applies to, the likes of Thomas Ellison, David Evans. So we'll see what the qualifying order is at the end of this. I'm expecting we'll see quite a lot of action in this race, because if the qualifying's anything to go by, these drivers are pushing the limits.
Yeah, they really are. And we're seeing a bit of a smaller field tonight, David, but I think these guys are going to kind of group up. As I said, there's going to be some very opportunistic drafting in this, but I think everybody's going to take some of these chicanes a little easier. And what we saw in the last race, we called some of these guys are very good at the infield, and some of these guys are very good at the chicane section. So, David, let's take a look at our grid here.
Yeah, sure. Just about everyone has completed their lap. So on pole, we said it, Ross Banfield, very late in the session, pulling out a good one to grab pole position. He'll be alongside John D. Allen, who's very much hoping for a good run tonight. Behind them, it's two Alexes, Alex Coffard and Alex Albert. Then fifth place, Chris Knisley. Not a bad place to start. And then sixth is Tom Ellison. Seventh, Tyler James. Eighth, Justin Hall. Ninth place will be Will Robbins. 10th, Roy Deitch. And you'll have the rest of the grid, Aaron.
Yeah, Roy Deitch in P10 and David Evans in P11. Jacob Beaton with a 129.336 in P12. John Hurley P13. Corey Brown P14. And our final driver who put down a qualifying lap is Kerry Morris in P15 with a 133.265. David and Luis Morga and Brian Cheney did not put down a qualifying lap, and we'll keep an eye out to see if they are able to grid tonight.
We did see Brian Cheney out on track in qualifying. We don't have a time on the board from him. I expect we might see him start from the back of the grid. 1 hour race ahead of us. Pit stop required for fuel. And we'll see when the drivers decide on taking that pit stop. For some of them, the decision might be taken away from them because they might need to bring their car on to pit road to get some repairs done. Got a great, interesting way that they grid the cars up if we're going to take this rolling start behind the Porsche safety car.
Yeah, this is pretty fun to look at here. This is, remind you, this is not how they're going to start here. When they do a standing start, the unfortunate group that is about P12 and behind, you do start in that chicane here, but these guys are going to have the luxury of a rolling start here, so they're going to grid up here almost like a Le Mans style, David, when you're the old days when you're hopping in your car and driving out here. But these guys are going to do a pace lap, and everybody is working on gridding up right now, and we're seeing a few more pop in. And David, we're about 30 seconds away here.
I like it a lot. Remind me to take a photo of this. I like the way they line up.
Let's see who else working to grid up here. It looks like, we got Coffords out there. It looks like we're still waiting on John D. Allen and Kerry Morris, Luis Morga, Brian Cheney, and John Hurley are taking their sweet time, David. Maybe one last bathroom break or maybe a snack before they start the race.
Yep, certainly they got 40 seconds left to join up on the grid. We'll have a full tour of the circuit behind the pace car before it pulls in, the green flag waves, and we get racing. Conditions, well, you might have an eye on them, Aaron, looking pretty quick.
Yeah, it really is. Right now, it is a beautiful clear sky with a 76-degree ambient, and track temperature is just a few degrees warmer at 77. But as the sun continues to go down, I anticipate that temperature dropping 3, 4, maybe even 5 degrees. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. I don't anticipate these guys taking tires, but we are going to see those lap times fall off a little bit, and they'll likely come back as that track cools, regardless of the tire wear, David. And it looks like, David, we're about to head out here.
Yep, the pace car gets going, Ross Banfield gets going, so does John D. Allen, and they all pull away from the line in anticipation for round 6 of ChampCar Sim Series in 2019. The point standings, Aaron, we had a little look at them earlier, and it's very, very close up the top. Alex Albert has 224 points, and in second place, it's a tie between Tom Ellison and John Allen on 204 points. Certainly, the lead could change at the end of this race. The championship could certainly close up, and nothing's decided just yet, so every race will mean something. Every one of those drivers result, and this is probably the circuit that's going to be most difficult to guarantee a result. It's the most treacherous, most dangerous one we've been to on the calendar yet.
No, you're definitely right. I think if there's going to be a shakeup in the points and unfortunately some heartbreak on the track, it is likely going to happen here. Although we don't want to see heartbreak from these end of these drivers, but we're probably going to see some issues in these chicanes. And David, if you recall, in the previous race we called here, this pit lane exit here is very, very tricky. In our previous race, we did see two cars almost spinning come out of the pit lane. These, as we said, these cars are low powered, but my goodness, you can really have yourself a good old time coming out of that pit lane. So these guys need to be conscious of that. Regardless of they have warm tires, you can have yourself a bit of a moment coming out of the pit lane here at the very tight Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, exactly. Pit entry, pit exit, always a place that you can gain a bit of time, always a place that you can lose a lot of time, maybe even throw your race away. You don't want to give up time on the pit entry, but you don't want to get a speeding penalty. And that exit you mentioned has got a very tight corner in it. You don't want to give away time. You've always got to treat it as a racing corner, but it's one that you might not have practiced as much as some of the other corners. And if it catches you out, you're going to very well be in trouble. This is the only time you'll see them safely go too wide through the snake pit, I'm sure, at pace car speeds. It means we're only got effectively one corner to go before the beautiful, and I love it, Porsche pace car pulls in, and we'll get ourselves a start going very, very soon. Aaron, you got a hot tip for this race?
I've got a hot tip. I'm always watching Thomas Ellison when it comes to pit strategy. He always surprises us. I'm going to keep an eye on anybody else if they take the Tom Ellison early pit strategy, because it may work out here, David. You find yourself a drafting partner. It just may work out for you tonight.
Right, Ross Banfield, I think, has just about made the jump. I saw Alex Coffard pull out of the train and not take this start, so he's had to abort, but a pretty clean start. Just about everyone else, Banfield, clean and away, easy. Your top 4, your top 5, making it safely through. They come through the infield bit. This is a little bit more familiar to the older Charlotte infield, but Brian Cheney has maybe had a problem off the start. So Brian Cheney, Alex Coffard not getting away as cleanly as they'd like.
No, they're really not, and I'm trying to find on track. Yeah, David Evans has a very, very messed up rear bumper. So yeah, there was clearly some dramas on the pace lap and possibly entering the first section as those guys were working through that very difficult section. But let's go up to the front here, and it looks like Ross Banfield, David, is already trying to make some very quick work and make himself a gap. He's got half a second, but as we talk about the draft here, that is going to disappear very, very quickly as they're coming up on their first approach to the very first chicane.
Yeah, top 3 looking good. There was a shuffle position between Thomas Ellison and Chris Knisley in 4th place. So Tom Ellison has made himself up 1 position. They come through the snake pit for the first time, and your leader, Ross Banfield, through cleanly. And Chris Knisley has been bit in the snake pit on the first lap. Huge damage on that car.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. He was very closely following Thomas Ellison. David, I think Thomas Ellison really kind of blocked his view. And David, wow, what a spectacular moment. Going completely airborne. Yeah, he just missed the first apex entirely. No chance of correcting that. So he is going to have to take a fast repair. Unfortunately, 2 minutes into this race. Tough moment for Chris Knisley.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen sometime in this race. We didn't know it was going to happen on lap 1 to one of our top 5. So Ross Banfield continues in the lead. John D. Allen is really being bothered by Alex Al now, and Tom Ellison, he will have seen in his mirror what happened behind, but he had the ability to take his own line. He's still in 4th, still within touch of the lead. Of course, that accident puts a little bit of gap between the top 4 and the rest of your field. Tyler James has done well to continue now in the top 5. Not a name that's been on my tongue much this season, but now in the top 5, so that's a on track for some good points for Tyler James. Of course, everyone behind that who's also survived up some positions. So just surviving the carnage could be its own talent here. You see the slipstream and the high speeds on the banking. It's pretty powerful. John Allen closes up a bunch on your leader, Ross Banfield, and to come towards the snake pit there. Has Alex Albert just gotten a bit offline but managed to survive. Thomas Ellison is going to try and go high around the outside, not going to work into the final chicane. So Banfield still leads from John Allen, who's closed up close as he's ever been, and struggles for Alex Albert in third, but it's on for the lead. Allen to the inside into turn one, tries to outbrake Banfield. Just about makes that work. They'll still carry side by side through the infield. Nose ahead for Allen. Banfield just keeping enough of his nose on the inside that when the track turns the other way, he's got the inside once again. Allen's a wily competitor, sets up a much better exit. Great battle for the lead here.
Yeah, fantastic battle for the lead, David. Let's keep the cameras there, but we'd have had a change for the third position. Alex Albert had a very big moment coming out of the final chicane and made some very, very heavy contact with the outside wall across the start-finish. Thomas Ellison was able to get by, but David, I'm worried that contact that Alex Albert made may have knocked out a toe, but my goodness, did some sparks fly on that. And also, David, Corey Brown is also our first victim coming out of the infield of the tri-way. He did have a spin, but David, let's go back up the front here as John D. Allen is taking a peek on Ross Banfield coming into the snake pit.
Banfield's got the inside, but now Allen's got the nose ahead. This could be a tragedy if they don't sort this out. I think Banfield sensibly has to back out of it. Costs him a lot of time, costs him 3 positions there. So Banfield survives, might even lose another one. He had to lose a lot of time through the snake pit there because John D. Allen was just a little bit braver. Banfield back to 5th, Ellison into the lead. More dramas for Ellison and Albert.
Yeah, David, that was just a whole big old cluster right there. We mentioned Alex Albert had an issue across start finish. Thomas Ellison now having an issue across start finish. As Ross Banfield, I believe he had the preferred line, but Thomas Ellison had a very, very tight line, and he just could not get it to stick. And David, wow, that was a big old mess. And John D. Allen and Ross Banfield have reclaimed their position with Tyler James now in P4.
Yeah, that's all allowed. Tyler James and Justin Hall behind to close up. So your top 6 cars now all a pack. John Allen in the lead. Ross Banfield, who looked like the big loser just a couple corners before, now back up into 2nd place, challenging for it. And they're going to go side by side, Thomas Ellison and Justin Hall for 5th place. So this circuit absolutely turning on some racing and some surprises. Let's hope that, this exciting 5 minutes, they can carry it through to the end and we see all of these guys make the finish. So Allen is going to try to hold on to the lead towards the snake pit. 3rd and 4th, I don't think that will change. 5th, what can Justin Hall and Tom Ellison do?
David, I really feel that Tom Ellison has some very critical damage. Oh my goodness, we watched Justin Hall almost lose there. David, Thomas Ellison's car is not driving straight. I would not be surprised if we see him pit this lap because I think that contact has done way more damage. And yeah, David, Thomas and Justin Hall both coming in, David. Early damage, early fast repairs for these guys. David, we're already seeing this track punish many drivers.
Yeah, let's see if it's possible to fuel the car to get to the end from there. Now, this series, it's fixed setup, and it's the fixed setup that has a limited amount of fuel in it. It might just be possible to fuel the car from here, get it to the end, but I would not guarantee it. Regardless, Thomas Ellison, Justin Hall are walking a tightrope, taking their repairs now with 54 minutes of racing ahead of them, where they just cannot afford any mistakes. It's very, very early in the day, or the night as it were, to be using up your fast repair there. Allen, Banfield, and Albert is your top 3, and Banfield lost out in the battle last time when John Allen took the lead, but now he's right there. We'll hope that these two can continue to fight. Let's see how it goes for them.
Yeah, there's a continuing fight here. I think everybody needs this to cool down. David, we've only driven 8 minutes, and I feel like we've called about 30 minutes worth of racing here. Everybody needs to cool down. We've already seen some unfortunate incidents, David. We've had 5 cars that have already taken a pit stop and a fast repair, and I think you are very, very right that I don't know if you could possibly take fuel this early in the race, but I think our biggest testers are going to be Justin Hall and Thomas Ellison, who stopped just 1 lap ago, but yeah, David, just lots of chances out here. These guys need to cool down. We have 52 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, side by side for the lead. Banfield's got his nose in through the infield. It slows these two up, and Alex Albert in third fancies his opportunities as well. Just can't carry the momentum, can Banfield. But your top three, very, very close here indeed as they come through the infield. And it's on that banking and on that backstretch where the sparks truly fly. Great run from John Allen onto the banking, but this is where they run fifth gear, where, pardon me, the draft and the slipstream comes into effect. Banfield will close up a little bit, so will Alex Albert. Probably didn't get a good enough run towards the bus stop chicane on the backstretch this time. Do they all make it through safely? They do. I think driving by themselves, they've worked out the correct line through there, but it's in traffic. It's with your visibility blocked by a car ahead that it's most difficult.
Yeah, that is absolutely sure, and I think that that's what we saw very early on in the race with again one driver just kind of getting blocked. But that first apex is so important, and you really have to hit that, David. So it looks like everybody's this group here at the lead is being very responsible now. A little cool down, and it looks like Alex Albert is the owner, the current owner of the fast lap of the race with a 1:27.7, David. And let's remind everybody that the qualifying was about a 1:26.3. So let's keep an eye on these track times or these lap times. The tires degrade, but the track temperature is going to drop. But right now, it is holding at a very reasonable 77 degrees, and we have a three-wide situation here. No, Alex Albert's going to hold off a little bit.
He thought about it and then thought much, much better of it. Again, something through the infield there. Ross Banfield likes to have a look at John D. Allen there. Maybe Banfield's just more confident through turn one, but in the end, going too wide has cost him. Banfield gets shuffled back to third. Allen holds on to the lead, and after deciding three wide wasn't wise, and good on him, Alex Albert then takes the opportunity to grab second. So your top three continue. You said it. Alex Albert does hold the fastest lap of the race right now. Banfield doesn't think that too wide is good through the snake pit this time. The three of them all cleanly through there. Now Albert has a good run at John Allen. Can he go to the right-hand side, try and take away the lead of the race, or will he wait? He's just going to wait this time. John Allen will know he's there, and Albert will hold on to second place once more. 10 minutes of racing done, and I feel like it's been a lot longer, Aaron.
Yeah, it definitely has. Alex Albert is really putting on a pretty good clinic here. He's pretty much muscled his way all the way up to P2, and he is really harassing John D. Allen. Watch John D. Allen with a pretty fancy drift right there in front of Alex Albert. I'm sure Alex Albert is keeping his eye on that. He heated up his right rear tires a little bit. David, I quickly want to fall back to PA with Brian Cheney, our man who did not put down a lap. Oh, David, and just as I say that, my goodness, he appears to have ended his race, and guess where he ended, David? The snake pit.
My goodness. Has that one gone on? Well, I've got my eyes on it right now in the number 16 car, Brian Cheney. Throwing maybe some blocks on Justin Hall behind. Didn't take a good line. Hit the third curb, hit the fourth curb into the wall. That's just so easy to do if you're too aggressive with those curbs. They're very, very tall. There's no car that likes them, even this one.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. Brian Cheney, he had gained 8 spots, so he was climbing up the field very, very quickly, running some very quick laps. But as we said at the beginning of the race, just because you're getting confident of where you're going, it just takes one issue and it is all over. And we're continuing to watch this battle up front. It looks like Alex Albert has corrected his issue coming out of the turn one there when he smacked the wall very early on, and he is settled in. It looks like he's just going to probably ride along with John D. Allen here. But yeah, these guys are running very close lap times. Obviously, Alex Albert has the draft, but they're running some very steady 1:27.5s, 1:27.4s. The top three here: John D. Allen, Alex Albert, and Ross Banfield.
Yeah, Allen, just something about turn one, turn two, the start of the infield. John Allen just doesn't carry as much speed as the other cars around him, but then coming onto the oval, coming through the snake pit, he's got the speed that we've seen all season from him, that's seen him win 3 races so far. He's leading this one, but we would not pencil in anything just yet. That would be very, very foolish. Top three have really got a bit of a breakaway, but shout outs again. 4th place, Tyler James, who just by avoiding doing much at all, finds himself in 4th place. John Hurley started from 13th, now in 5th.
Yeah, he's really kind of by himself right now, and yeah, he had a very good pass on Will Robbins. Will Robbins had a bit of a moment going through the infield section, so yeah, John Hurley didn't have to do too much, and it looks like car number 17 just behind him there, David. That is car number 20, Alex Cofford. Alex Cofford is 3 laps down, so that is no competition for John Hurley. And if I was John Hurley, I would just let him go because I do not. Oh, David, he's gonna take a pit. John Hurley is slowing, and he is headed into the pits with 46 minutes left in this race.
Some scuffs on the front of that car, but I don't see a massive amount of damage. There's not that many cars without a little bit of damage. Taking a look at your lead, though, Alex Albert did get through to the final chicane last time.
Yeah, I'm watching the pass right now. It looks like, yeah, John D. Allen, he did a big lift coming into the final chicane. It looks like he was probably sick and tired of being harassed by a very fast Alex Albert and just kind of let him by. And I highly doubt that Alex Albert will offer a repayment of that favor, but a very generous move by John D. Allen. I think he realizes 45 minutes left in this race. Alex Albert appears to be very quick right now. Just let him go.
Danger time on the backstretch. John Allen was thinking about trying to go around the outside of Alex Albert. He's wisely rolled out of the throttle, try and set up a stronger exit out of the snake pit. Hasn't quite done it. Banfield is now going to have the opportunity to try and take that position. The high side on the oval isn't quite as quick, but it becomes the inside for the final chicane. And Banfield had enough speed anyway to get it done. Plenty of changes for position up your top 3. Banfield, who led some laps, got shuffled down the order some, now back into 2nd place. John Allen, who's led more laps than just about anyone so far, now back into 3rd place. And Alex Albert up 3 spots on his grid position into the lead of this race for the time being. It's certainly getting a bit darker out there around circuit, and I think particularly that shows through the infield. The oval bits pretty well lit. Of course, this was a circuit that really pioneered racing under lights on ovals, but the infield not quite as well lit.
Yeah, not quite as well lit, and as I kind of spoke about at the start of the race, we're going to see some of these guys that are very good at the infield and some of these guys that are better at the chicanes. Unfortunately, I think I've identified somebody who's just not very good at these chicanes. John D. Allen has been burned twice now in the snake pit here. Both Ross Banfield and Alex Albert made their pass shortly after that. So John D. Allen's really got to correct that issue because right now he is a full second, a full almost second and a half from Alex Albert, and he's about half a second away from Ross Banfield. So he needs to recoup some of that time lost here. But David, he needs to really correct that issue because that's going to be a big passing opportunity early on. How well you take that snake pit section.
Okay, so within touching distance of the lead, 1.2 seconds, Alex Albert makes a little bit of a dog's breakfast of the final chicane. Lets the 2 cars behind close up. Really, it's now going to be time to think about the strategy. When are they going to pit? What service are they going to take? Are you going for new tires? Because it's certainly within range that a good pit stop could jump any of these guys into the lead. So they need to have that on their mind as well as the lap in front of them, the corners that they're taking.
That is indeed. I'm working my way down here right now. Our highest pitter is Tom Ellison. Tom Ellison started P7, or excuse me, started P6. He's currently running in P7. Remember, he did have that big old wall smack at the beginning. Chris Knightley has also pit. John Hurley and everybody below that, David, has all taken a pit stop. So P7, P6. Let's keep an eye on that group, as this top group is going to have to start pitting soon, and these guys are going to come up quick. And Tom Ellison, I think he got his one mistake out of the way, and he's looking quick.
Certainly, it's following in traffic. It's having someone in front blocking your view, distracting you, that can cost a little bit of time, even if the slipstream is worth some. You find some clean track by yourself. Find your rhythm, which is so important. Don't put a foot wrong, and then you can presumably go up the timing sheet quite some way. There's a few drivers who are going to have to take that strategy after their early pit stop. Not our current top three. It's been all pretty clean. Alex Albert has got some scuff marks on that 337 Miata, but it's still looking rather quick as he holds on to the lead for now. Banfield, your pole sitter, now back into second place, and they've settled down just a little bit, but Albert goes quite wide in this part of the infield. He'll get away with that this time. The only place that there's any grass you can put your wheels on around this circuit, really.
Yeah, Alex Albert definitely took a scenic route. Almost takes a scenic route again. David, the Mazda Miata, it's not as durable as, say, a street stock, which you can pretty much drop off a cliff and probably drive it away. But the Miata is a pretty durable car. I was concerned about that hit that Alex Albert did take very early on in the race. And, you really don't want to knock out a toe here, because that toe entering these two very fast sections, these chicanes, you really want that toe to be in line. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Albert's wheel was a bit, off camber, either to the left or to the right with that big hit he had. And whoa, Ross Banfield with a little two-wheel action on the infield there. So, David, I'll be very interested to see if Alex Albert decides to take a fast repair in his pit stop, because it looks like whatever damage he received at the start-finish line, it is not affecting his speed, because, my goodness, he still has fast lap of the race with 40 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, I've stubbed my toe in the dark. No fun at all. No fun whatsoever. So you don't want to do that with your race car here, that's for sure. Top three is actually stabilized for a tiny bit, but Tyler James is coming out of the pit lane right now alongside these guys. He's had to take a pit stop, had to take that repair, hoping that he doesn't have to do that again, because he was running very well in the top five. And come to a little bit of grief, managed to bring it back on a pit road under its own power. Race not over for him. He's going to have to be careful right now. Finds himself just off the lead lap, following behind your top pack of three. He'll either learn something from watching these guys, or he'll come unstuck. He's hit the outside wall coming out of the infield on his outlap. Tough couple of laps here for Tyler James, who was doing very, very well for himself.
Yeah, just clipped the wall there. And David, that is such a strange incident. You really do want to take that approach to the infield as wide as you possibly can, but you don't want to go too wide. Just a very strange spin. And David, yeah, it looks like he's crabbing pretty bad. That right front is completely pushed. And so I worry that Tyler James's night may be done, as this will be his second fast repair.
Yeah, it's a bit of undulation through that section. Can't quite see your track out point. It can catch people off guard. Through the final chicane, John D. Allen's been a little bit balked by David Evans, and it's cost John Allen some time. Really broken up this top pack that we had. There's now more than a second gap between each of them. Albert has just pulled out a little bit over Banfield, and John Allen has lost a couple of seconds on that last lap. Maybe two and a half. So lost that battle pack a tiny bit. Anything could still change though. Let's do a rundown of all of your cars still running. So in your lead, it's Alex Albert. Banfield has second place. He might be able to close that one up. John Allen, no one ever doubts his pace in this car in this series. He's in third place, so within shouting distance of the lead. Fourth place now is Will Robbins, and fifth is Roy Deitch. Those guys on for potentially a good result. And the first of your cars that have taken a pit stop already, in sixth place, is Tom Allison. If he can get to the end from there, he could certainly jump some more spots. Seventh is Chris Knisley. Again, also taking a pit stop. Eighth is John Hurley. Still running in ninth, David Evans. And I think your last car running in 10th, as I see it, is Jacob Beenan. He might be parked on pit road though right now.
Yeah, David, I think he is. And I'm going to look back up to, David, a P2, Ross Banfield, put down a very quick lap last lap, almost, about 4/10 quicker than Alex Albert. So I think he has worked his way back up into a drafting position. We Alex Albert take a bit of a moment into the second corner there, getting a bit drifty. So, David, I'm watching some second times. Yeah, Alex Albert again taking a complimentary mowing job on the grass section there. It has allowed Ross Banfield to give him a quick hello and say, hey, don't forget that I'm still here and I would like my P1 back. So, David, we're getting close to pit stop time, I can imagine. But yeah, as you said, Thomas Ellison has creeped his way back up to P6, which is where he started. And
side by side for the lead, because Alex Albert scraped the car on the outside wall coming onto the oval. Banfield took a perfect line through that corner, now sweeps himself back into the lead, will try and hold on to it towards the snake pit. Alex Albert is smarter than to try and force the issue here.
What a spectacular two-wheel moment by Ross Banfield there, and that will drop him a couple miles an hour. The way it looks fun and exciting, that is not good for your speed, and he is going to lose his position. So he will not lead this lap, as Alex Albert will chalk up another lap lead here with 36 minutes left in this race. And it looks like John D. Allen as well is creeping his way back up to this group, David. So it looks like this three-car battle is going to resume here very quickly.
Been a switch for 4th place. I see that on my timing screen. Take a look at what happened there. Roy Deitch has gotten himself past Will Robbins coming onto the oval from the infield. So Roy Deitch has found a bit of pace later in the race. Still no pit stop for him yet. So he's all on track right now. I guess if you'll excuse the pun. He's still got his fast repair in hand, and then we're getting closer and closer to half race time now. So the likes of Roy Deitch, Will Robbins could steal a good result. That's what this kind of circuit has thrown up. Some guys who might not quite have the pace, but can run a safe race, put in some consistent laps. This is the kind of circuit for them.
Yeah, as you take a look at Will Robbins' car, it is not the prettiest car, but he is up 4 spots, and Roy Deitch, not the prettiest car either. As you watch him go, oh, David, my goodness. And Roy Deitch has completely planted it into the wall.
Did we curse him?
David, I think we might have. That was a violent tank slapper, and unfortunately, that is likely no other choice but a toe there. My goodness, what a moment for Roy Deitch, and Will Robbins had to get a good scare right there.
Yeah, so Roy Deitch is going to have to try and limp that back onto pit road. They'll be able to fix it up real quick for him, but it's going to cost him 20 seconds easily trying to limp that thing back around to the pit lane. Another little time lost for John Allen. He drops off the lead pack. Alex Albert and Ross Banfield now trying to make a little bit of a breakaway. Banfield, I'm sure, would dearly like to get that lead back again before it becomes time for the pit stops.
Yeah, David, I was watching John D. Allen. He again struggled with that chicane section. That final corner, he completely missed the right curb and smashed the left curb and almost hit the wall again. And the car pogoed really, really hard. So he lost probably half a second just merely crossing the start-finish line. So John D. Allen's got a bit of work to do. But Ross Banfield and Alex Albert, yeah, David, it looks like Ross, he's going to take a peek. I don't know if this is a wise move with 30 minutes left in the race, but I think Ross Banfield is ready to lead some more laps. And no, he's going to lift before the snake pit.
I think Banfield was just testing. Does he have enough overspeed to make it cleanly around the outside? When he realized probably not, rolled out of the throttle to try and cleanly take that backstretch chicane, the snake pit, and it wisely done that, will live to fight another day. Very deep on the brakes into the final chicane. Can't do nothing about it. John Allen, no consistency, but a lot of speed, because now he's right back there. He can put in a quick lap. He can put in some quick sectors, but just not quite as reliable with it as some of the others. Albert, from my view, scrapes the wall again, will just get away with it. The mechanics are going to have plenty of body panels to replace on that thing later on, but it's in the lead, so who are you going to complain to?
Nobody to complain to. David, we'll keep the cameras on this action, but I want to unfortunately report that Chris Nicely has had a massive moment in the infield, and David, he is having a full-on barbecue in the front of his car. So Chris Nicely, running in P6, is now towing to the pits, and there's a barbecue coming out of the front of that Mazda Miata.
That'll be his second call onto pit road, so that'll be a long repair for Chris Knisley, unfortunately. John D. Allen is now testing Ross Banfield, decides that he can't make that work before the snake pit. They all drop back into line like you kind of have to do through there. It's one line, and anything off that line is just about certain death. John Allen, again, not a good run through there. Banfield gets a good run, can't pass Alex Albert before the last chicane. Banfield's been pretty good through here. He's been pretty good through the infield. When he strings the good sectors together, Banfield could indeed be very quick. One more lap to the halfway point of this race. And then we'll have to wonder, when will any of these top three pit? Will they take the fuel as long as they can, or try and dice the race into two nice even pieces?
Yeah, that really looks like, from just a very quick view here, that looks like what may be happening. But man, my goodness, we are watching Tom Ellison creep up the field. He's now up to P5. So that group that pitted very early, remember, Thomas Ellison, he pitted, David, 14 laps ago. Will Robbins and this group here, these guys are on lap 19. So my goodness, did Tom Ellison pit almost a whole week ago is what it feels like. But he's working his way up here. But let's focus here. Yeah, Ross Banfield, he's really itching to get past Alex Albert. I just don't know if that's something he wants to do before this pit stop cycle, because these guys have a great group. They're very quick on track. But David, he's going to take another peek, and I don't think, he's going to lift again.
Sensible, I think. He manages to get it back in line. It's a slightly better run than Alex Albert, but not massively. Really, you've got to, if you're going to go around the outside, you've got to have your nose ahead and then maybe another half a car length. But from third place, John Allen has decided, halfway in the race, 30 minutes to go, it's pit stop time. Albert and Banfield stay out. Your first and second place. John D. Allen trying something different. He's onto pit road, and do you know what? I'm going to be interested to see, will he take tires on that NC Mazda MX-5 Mazda Miata? What's his pit strategy going to be?
It'll be very interesting to watch as we're watching Alex
tires.
Albert.
He goes up on the jacks. So tires and fuel for John Allen.
Wow, David, that is a bold strategy. I think he's seeing that there's a chance for some traffic, and Alex Albert is hitting it right now. This is not what Alex Albert needs. As we're watching the 977 of Corey Brown, who is unfortunately having not a great night. Alex Albert had to work his way around him. Ross Banfield is going to hit him right on the exit. They're very difficult position, going to have to work by. So that is not what Alex Albert needed. But John D. Allen, his crew chief has got to be cheering that on right there, because anytime that Alex Albert is held up on track, John D. Allen is going to take that benefit. So is Ross Banfield going to give Alex another peek? Maybe a bump? No, he's going to lift and a tap of the brakes, entering the snake pit, and everybody's safe through.
Yep, so it was 24 seconds on the pit in the pit box for John Allen. He came out just about 40 seconds behind your leader, Alex Albert. Now, Ross Banfield has decided he's coming onto pit lane. Alex Albert is all alone. We'll see, where does Allen come out relative to Banfield? Has Allen managed to make a jump? What is Banfield going to do on the pit lane, and how long can Alex Albert stay out? This is an intriguing and crucial time of the race right now. Alex Albert just needs to put in clean laps if he's going to hold on to the lead. John Allen is going to need to put in some quick laps if he's going to undercut. And Banfield, well, where will he shake out in all of this? Can he grab the lead? Will he be dropped back into third place? All to play for right now.
All to play for it. He is the jacks on the right side are down. The left side goes up. So it looks like tires is the strategy here. So he's taking full service. And David, the left side is down, and he is rolling. Let's watch. Be careful on this exit. Do not lose the car. Very responsible exit for Ross Banfield. And John D. Allen has made the pass, David. He's right there in front of him. And what is the gap going to be coming out? Yeah, David, that's going to be over a second, almost a second and a half, well, maybe 2 seconds. So, well, Ross Banfield has got some work to do with 28 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, great jump there by Allen. About the same time in the pit box on the pit lane between Allen and Banfield. I think Allen's just had a better in lap, a better out lap, and done it all on the track. Found himself a bit of clean air. And I think that's really what he wanted to do. He'll want to continue to bang in those laps, try and undercut Alex Albert if he can. And I can tell you that when John Allen came out of the pits, he was 40 seconds behind Alex Albert. He's now 38.7. He's eating into that margin. If it gets down as low as 35 seconds or so, you can be certain that John Allen will undercut Alex Albert. So the battle's not happening side by side, door to door on the track right now. But don't let that deceive you that there isn't a battle for the lead happening right now. And I'd have to say, I think it's between Alex Albert and John Allen. Alex Albert is still out on circuit, is he not?
Yeah, he still is out on circuit. And I'm just watching lap times here. Yeah, John D. Allen went green in Sector 1 on that last lap, David, and I'm watching
Goes
his last
overall
lap.
purple. John Allen has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 126.8. He is flying. He's eaten 2 seconds out of Alex Albert in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, he has set himself up for a fantastic undercut opportunity. I am beginning to wonder about Alex Albert's strategy. Yeah, he is a full 2 seconds slower right now. So we're watching Alex Albert come through the snake pit here. He's coming through the NASCAR turn 4. He does have another lap car in front of him, David. If I was Alex, I think this is the time you pit. And no, he does not. He is staying out. And my goodness, this is a very aggressive strategy, David. He's got to be watching those lap times because this is not looking opportunistic for him right now with John D. Allen so quick on track.
Yeah, exactly. I think following the other cars and the pressure of a battle didn't work for John Allen, but when he can just time trial it, when he can have some clean space, follow his lines, look far down the track towards the apex, then he's quick. Because it's now down to 37.4 seconds, Albert to Allen. It's come down 2.5 from when Allen came out of the pit lane. He's doing everything he needs to right now to try and undercut Alex Albert.
Yeah, I'm watching Ross Banfield. He's going to be coming through his first lap, not his first lap, but the first couple laps on clean tires here. Let's see what his lap is. Is he as quick? No, he is not as quick as John D. Allen on his out lap, but also, David, again, he is a full second quicker than Alex Albert. I'm really starting to worry here, but Alex Albert, he knows what he's doing, David. That's why he's down there and we're up here, but wow, I'm really starting to worry about some of these lap times.
Yep, certainly it's all looking good right now for John Allen if he can keep his car clean. Someone's gone around. John Hurley's gone around on the exit of the snake pit in front of Alex Albert. Might have scared him, might have tricked him into lifting out of the throttle. Alex Albert has called enough, and maybe this is as far as he could go on fuel with 24 minutes remaining. So your leader onto pit road, it'll have to be a lightning stop if he's going to come out in front of John Allen. But that's where we're going to have our eyes focused to see what happens there. John Hurley, well, he's collided with the wall, so he's also on pit road. Busy time right there. John Allen hoping to take the lead away as Alex Albert is going to get tires. Looks like he's not going to take a fast repair. I haven't seen any of those panels pop out just yet. Who knows? Maybe he's still comfortable with it. Wants to keep that in the bag for later. Car's obviously not too bad. He's revving it. It drops down. He's waiting for the fuel. He gets away, but John Allen is into the lead of the race as I see it right now.
Yeah, David, I just think that's a strategy missed by Alex Albert. My goodness, is John D. Allen super quick?
Door-to-door contact on the pit exit there for Alex Albert. Lap traffic maybe just didn't know he was there. So before he's even back onto the racing circuit proper, banging door-to-door with who was that? Was that Jacob Beenan?
Yeah, correct, David. That was Jacob. And my goodness, Alex Albert with some fantastic driving in order to save that car. But wow, that is not what he needed. So John D. Allen now with a completely clean car. He has very warm. There's Alex Albert coming out on cold tires, and again has taken more damage. David, he's got 23 minutes, and he's got a lot of work to do, but he does have the fresher tires out there. John D. Allen's tires are 4 laps older, and track temperature, David, continues to be 77 degrees Fahrenheit, so no dropping, as we see John D. Allen hit the wall coming onto the bank section here.
Yeah, so not an easy time for either of our drivers right now, pushing very, very hard because the gap is 1.7 seconds. It's 1.8. If John Allen can keep it there, maybe he can scurry away, take his 4th win in this series this season. But if Alex Albert can close up just half a second, get back in the slipstream, then he has a chance for a win. But he's clobbered the wall on the exit of the final chicane. It's cost him a bit of time. Might have just put a couple more dents in the aero of his car. Alex Albert pushing very, very hard, but John Allen's got the biggest race lead anyone's had all race, basically.
Yes, he does, and I think Alex Albert's going to need to have a barbecue at his house, and the barbecue, everybody brings a hammer, because he's going to have to knock out quite a few panels at the end of this race here, so we're really going to have to keep an eye. As I said before, I'm worried about him knocking out a toe, but he's continued to prove me wrong, that regardless of any beating and banging on that car, it is continuing to drive extremely well, so let's keep an eye on lap times for Alex Albert. This is going to be his first timed lap coming out of the pits. See if he's gaining any time at all on John D. Allen.
Yeah, looking at the Delta, it's not looking good for Alex Albert right now. And in fact, Banfield, I think that's going to be the next battle for 2nd place. Can Albert hold on to it from Banfield, who's charging up just a little bit closer? They are going to have the car of David Evans to put a lap on. Allen has done that. Albert and Banfield are going to have to do it. And Banfield's now within a second for Alex Albert, because Alex Albert's bringing it down onto pit lane for a 2nd time. He's clearly damaged that car more than he's comfortable with. And that's going to cost him a shot at 1st or 2nd place, but he might be able to hold on to 3rd. Otherwise, that's going to go to Thomas Ellison.
Yeah, David, I don't think he's going to be able to do it because Thomas Ellison is coming across start-finish right now unless Alex Albert has a record-setting pit stop, which he's had a very quick one here. So Thomas Ellison coming through the first corner right now. David, where is Alex Albert?
Just ahead. So the gap, Ellison to Albert, I think about 4 seconds. So Albert just had enough time in his pocket, come down on the pit lane, take that fast repair that he didn't take in his first pit stop. He'll carry on. He's got a clean car for 20 minutes to go, but no more safety nets for him. Holds on to 3rd position. John Allen now with a gap of nearly 5 seconds to 2nd place. We said it was going to be a race of survival, a little bit of attrition. John Allen didn't look so comfortable earlier in the race, but now when it counts, he's avoided some of the problems that have beset the other drivers. Still 20 minutes to go for him to try and hold on and maintain that lead.
Yeah, and you mentioned attrition. We gridded with 17 cars. We currently have 9 cars with still running engines and turning steering wheels. So a lot of attrition tonight. And not to say that even our guys on track haven't made their own mistakes, but they haven't been catastrophic. So John D. Allen, pretty much a clean race. Ross Banfield clean as well, but Alex Albert just beating and banging. My goodness, it has been fun to watch him really, really push that car. But yeah, he really needs to keep his eye on Tom Ellison, who is up 2 spots, starting from P6 in P4. He pitted 23 laps ago, but he is our top driver, where we are a bit concerned about his fuel savings. But Tom Ellison, he's a math man. He probably did the math before he pulled in there, and he knew that he could pull it off. So let's keep a close eye on Tom Ellison and David Evans as well, right behind Thomas Ellison in P5.
Yeah, gap between 4th and 5th is quite significant, but any mistake, any error from those in front, David Evans is still out there, still trucking in hunt of a good haul of points right now. That's what he just may well get if he can keep that car off the curbs, off the walls, out of trouble. Banfield's coming up to lap that number 9 car, close up a lot through the snake pit. Banfield playing quite dear with some of the curbing. He's going to have to be very careful how he tries to put this number 9 car a lap down. In this case, I think another lap down, 2 laps off the lead, but still running, still driving, and that's more of a success than some drivers have had here. I think Evans is very courteously going to pull quite far off the racing line, lift out Banfield through, help him in his pursuit of the leader. That gap is now 5.2 seconds. John Allen enjoying quite a lead, more of a cushion than anyone has had all race, and he's working on putting a bit more stuffing into that cushion as well.
Yeah, he really is, and it's a very courteous driving by John Hurley there. So yeah, John Hurley, excuse me, David Evans. Yeah, he's up 6 spots, David, up to P5. That's nothing to sneeze at there. So he understands that that is a lead car. He is a lap down, but my goodness, he's going to get himself a nice points haul tonight for David Evans, all the way up to P5. But I'm keeping a close eye on times here. So of the top 3, Alex Albert was the quickest of that last set with the 127.8. Ross Banfield doing a 127 or 128.4, and John D. Allen doing a 128.5. So Alex Albert is driving extremely hard, trying to pull as much time as he can with just under 16 minutes left in this race. And Thomas Ellison also in the low 128.
Yeah, Albert pulling away from Ellison, closing up the gap ahead, but he might not have enough time. What he can do, certainly, is if he keeps clawing that gap down, is put some pressure on Ross Banfield. Banfield's put a little bit of pressure on John D. Allen because he's pulled a second out of that gap. John Allen's clearly had a little foible somewhere around the circuit, so his lead, I was talking it up earlier, but it's not assured. Nothing is assured at this circuit until the last time you've gone through that snake pit without being bit.
Now, David, we are not short of action. Our top group is a bit split up, but I just watched a great pass by Jacob Bean on Roy Deitch. So Roy Deitch, John Hurley has made a pass on Jacob Bean. So great action with these guys in here in P7 and P8. So John Hurley is now up 6 spots again, up to P7, all the way from P13, and Jacob Bean as well.
John Hurley not holding on to that one, unfortunately. Track conditions have been very, very stable from the start of the race. These guys are just not finding a rhythm out there.
No, that was an unfortunate incident. We've had a few incidents of the announcer's curse here, and unfortunately, I think that I have given it to John Hurley as he made a fantastic pass and then lost it with a bit of a spin there. So let's move it back up to the front here. John D. Allen is continuing to just race all by himself with a very healthy gap on Ross Banfield. David, I'm trying to remember what you said on the timing. So the gap is now down to 4 seconds. I believe it was 5 seconds a couple laps ago. Is Ross Banfield making up time here?
Well, it made up time on the last lap. It made up time on the lap before that, but not huge margins. Still, again, for a couple laps in a row, the fastest car out there is Alex Albert. His gap to the lead has come down about 4 seconds since he came out of the pit stop. He might just be able to get close to Ross Banfield, force an error there, but at the current rate he's not going to be able to catch and pass in the 10 laps that we have remaining. The gap's just a little bit too far from that, but with a pretty clean car, a bit lighter on the fuel, his tires were still pretty young, he's got all of the right conditions to be able to set that timing screen alight. Just a little bit of clean space in front of him as well. He's doing what he needs to. The gap, Allen to Banfield, is coming down a little bit more once again. It's going to be about 0.3 on this lap, so don't write that off. My fingers are very, very crossed for some action in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, and I really think the opportunity is going to come from, we're going to see some action here from Ross Banfield. He is really turning it on here as he is the car on track with the youngest tires. He's only done 5 laps on these tires versus 10 laps for Ross Banfield and almost 11 and a half laps for John D. Allen. Thomas Ellison behind him, 27 laps on his tires, who also may be doing a bit of fuel savings with just under 10 laps to go in this race. So, man, Ross Banfield, very quick, and David, he's taken another 2/10 out of John D. Allen just in a couple sectors here.
Yeah, the gap that was 5.2 is now closer to 3.5, 3.7. And Alex Albert, again, the fastest lap of the race. We pulled 0.8 out of John Allen. My goodness, it's all closing up a little bit, but the gap's still too much for me to want to get excited about the battles. They've got, again, another little bit of lap traffic. John Allen's going to pass, I think that is the 14, which is Jacob Beenan. So now that car is between Allen and Banfield. And Allen caught him at a good spot on the banking, but if you catch a car through the infield, that can cost you some time. So that's a little victory there for John Allen, but he's still got 9 more laps of this circuit to go. 12 minutes left on the timing board for him to try and hold on and make it win number 4 in the 2019 ChampCar Sim Series.
Yeah, just true dominance. John D. Allen, very patient at the start of this race. He did lead several laps, and then we watched him make a few errors. I think it just, he did the full practice and the full qualifying, but it always feels different when you're in the race, and the car just, you're in a different headspace. So John D. Allen corrected those errors that he made probably in the first 15, 20 minutes of the race, and has proven again why he has been such a dominant driver in this series. And watching Ross Banfield here, yeah, he's going to catch Jacob Beenan in a very opportunistic position again. So Jacob Beenan running outside, quick blink there, but he's going to be on the outside. So no issues for Ross Banfield. He has lost a couple tenths. That gap is now 3.6. It was down to 3.4 at its tightest, but still plenty of time left for Ross Banfield if he can pick back up those laps. And David, I don't see any lap traffic in front of these guys. Hopefully there's some opportunity for Ross Banfield here with a clean track in front of him to put down some hot laps and give us some action at the closing laps.
We wait and see, don't we? 10 minutes left to go, more or less. Your leader is John Allen. Your pole sitter, Ross Banfield, back in second place. Alex Albert led a bunch of laps. Some issues. Now finds himself in third place, 15 seconds adrift of the lead. Fourth place after a very early pit stop is Tom Ellison. Can he make it to the end from there? He certainly hopes so, but he is more than a lap clear of fifth place, which is David Evans, who has not been setting the timing screen alight in any way, but he also hasn't been setting the walls alight or leaving too much paint on them. So that's a win for him, up 6 places into 5th place. And as that stands, of all the cars that are going to make the finish, he's the driver with the most positions gained, which does make him a hard charger of the race. And just by keeping it on the black stuff, keeping it rolling, and that's the moral of this circuit, really.
Yeah, it really is, and he's been a prime example of that. So, yeah, David, he has, David Evans, he has taken only one stop. It looks like our two stoppers, Jacob Beenan is our highest running two stopper, and he really is kind of he's the second to last car running left in this race. So, a race of attrition. It looks like the max has been two fast repairs, but he's keeping his head straight. So, continue to keep my eye on the timing screen. And yeah, Ross Banfield is backed sub 3.2 second gap to John D. Allen. So he continues to chip away, but I just don't know if he has enough time with right at about 7 laps left in this race.
Yeah, and I'm hearing as Banfield does get under 3 seconds from John Allen. I'm hearing that because of the fixed setup, that means all the drivers start the race with the same amount of fuel, but not a full tank. It's not a restricted fuel tank size. The fuel tank is the same size as normal. The drivers just can't start with it full, which means even though he pitted very, very early in the race, there was room in the tank for Tom Ellison to fit the required fuel to get to the end from there. So barring any incidents, he should be good. And speaking about this gap, first to second, it's now 3 seconds. If Banfield can find just 2 seconds to be within the slipstream range, then the effective difference between being 2/10 behind and a second behind, it doesn't matter when the draft will close it all up for you. He's 3 seconds behind, but really, he only needs to find 2 seconds over the next 6 laps to really, really ratchet up the pressure on John Allen.
Yeah, he really does. And it looks like John D. Allen is continuing to struggle with the infield is the strongest section for him. The Sector 3 is not. So, David, he is, Ross Banfield is gaining all his time on John D. Allen in Sector 3. So he did a 59, Ross Banfield did a 59.8 in Sector 3, and John D. Allen did almost a 101. So, massive difference in Sector 3 there. So, Ross Banfield is very quick on track, very consistent with his times. John D. Allen, he just cannot get those chicane sections figured out. But David, he's in the lead, so I don't think he's too concerned about that. But Ross Banfield gets in draft range, things could get interesting.
Yep, the gap now 2.6 seconds through some of the infield there. I don't know how much of it was my eyes, but maybe just a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a tank slapper coming over one of those little crests. And certainly they can upset the front of the car, upset the rear of the car, and also just make it difficult to see the line you're trying to follow. So the gap now 2.5 seconds. Come towards the snake pit on this lap. How confident through there will John Allen be? Bit of a safe line, but that's what you need to do if you're leading this race with 6 minutes left to go. You just need to make sure you survive. That gap is now 2.3 seconds, so it's about 7/10 or so that Banfield has found on this lap. He only needs to do that for one more lap, and then find a little bit on the lap after that, and he's there or thereabouts. You remember when this gap was 5.2 seconds? They crossed the line. It's just about 2 seconds. So Banfield found that pace that put him on pole position, and he's putting it down where it matters right now. 8/10 faster on the last lap. Alex Albert's charge has dropped off just a little bit. He's still hovering 15 seconds off the lead in third place. That'll be, some points for him. That will be an okay result. He can deal with that, live and fight on for another day. But the battle right now is for the lead of the race with 5 minutes to go. Banfield is closing.
Yeah, he is closing fast, and let's right on board with Ross Banfield on this section here. So I was keeping an eye on the speed. So John Allen's exit speed of the snake pit is right around just 95 to 98 miles an hour, versus Ross Banfield is in the 101 to 102. David, by the end of the straightaway, Ross Banfield is hitting 125 miles an hour versus John D. Allen's it just barely over 120. So my goodness, he really needs to figure out this section, because this is where he is losing all sorts of time. And right now, again, I'm watching the speed again. Yeah, David, and the delta on the speed is almost 3 miles an hour. So, my goodness, Ross Banfield is really chewing away the time here. And we are going to be, right at about 2 seconds with just over 4 laps to go in this race. David, I cannot wait to see if Ross Banfield can make this happen.
It's a little more equal this time by, but Banfield can see John Allen in front of him, and Allen can see Banfield in his mirrors. It's only 1 second or so that Banfield is going to need to find on these last 4 laps to be able to try as he can to make a charge. So for a few laps, it was absolutely the Ross Banfield show, but now John Allen's just managed to stabilize it for 1 lap, and that's giving him a little bit of hope. Banfield is going to need to pull out everything, but he doesn't want to throw away a second place finish.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that's the big important piece here, because Alex Albert has some very difficult, some very difficult issues. But my goodness, what strength holding on to P3! But yeah, Ross Banfield has got to be extremely smart and not make a crucial mistake with just these guys at the line. They're going to have about 3 laps left, and so Ross Banfield, David, he has really lost some time on this last lap. John D. Allen has found some pace. That gap is now 2.7 seconds versus we entered this final chicane last time. It was at 2 seconds dead.
Yeah, Allen, it was always his race to try and hold on to. He's to lose, and he just needed to find that little bit of rhythm, stem some of the bleeding of the time, and he'd be able to hold on to it. It's Banfield who was putting in quick laps, but had to keep finding that pace lap after lap if he was going to close the gap. I don't know, it's still possible, but every passing lap where Banfield doesn't close in more than 4/10 really isn't enough. He's hanging two wheels on the grass through the infield, trying to do everything he can here to find some speed. It's going to be close, and it's certainly closer than I might have hoped coming into this race. But Allen's to lose, Banfield with a lot of work still to go. 2 minutes 30 seconds on the clock, and Banfield needs to maximize every single one of those seconds.
Yeah, I think you're right that John D. Allen has stabilized the bleeding a little bit. He may have found the magic sauce here on these closing laps in that final sector because, yeah, they were dead. They were dead on Sector 3 last time. So John D. Allen may have been cheating us out a little bit, faking us out because he's figured out that final sector. Maybe he was just holding it out to being a little conservative in those final sectors. But, yeah, David Weir continued to be steady with about a 2.7, 2.8 second gap between P1 and P2. I'm going to pop back to Alex Albert to see how he's looking. Alex Albert approaching the final sector now. Very clean car now for Alex Albert after taking a second pit stop, unlikely taking a fast repair to clean up the car. And then Tom Ellison, as always, Mr. Early Pit. Cosmetically, he's got a little bit of a bump, but a very quiet and steady race for Tom Ellison. And then rounding out our top five, David Evans with a fantastic drive tonight, up 6 spots all the way up to P5. It looks like he's dealing with a bit of lap traffic again. Jacob Beenan is going to need to move aside. But David, yeah, these top five guys, really, as we said at the start of the race, who's going to be the cleanest, who's going to stay out of trouble, and the top group outside of Alex Albert, the one pit stop strategy. Oh, we have a spin in front of David Evans there. Nice avoidance.
Yeah, well, there we go. It's 50 seconds left on the clock. Less than 1 minute to go. Tom Ellison is dropping back from Alex Albert. Quite a few slow laps. I think he's got just enough to hold on to fourth place with the amount of time left to go. It's the battle for the lead where Allen has 2.6 seconds over Banfield, and that's been pretty stationary the last couple of laps. John Allen pulling the pace out in the last couple of laps to show why he's got 3 wins in this championship already, why he's trying to make it 4.
Yeah, it is. David, we can stay on the battle up, or stay on the leaders up there. Tom Ellison, I was very concerned for a second. He completely pulled over into turn 1. He was letting lap traffic by. David, Thomas Ellison is coasting a lot. I am worried Thomas Ellison is having some fuel concerns with about a lap and a half to go, David. He is pushing the clutch in, and there's a lot of coasting going on for Tom Ellison.
White flag was out last time John Allen crossed the line. He's on the final lap. He's only got one more trip through the snake pit, through the high curbs of the final chicane. The checkered flag in Charlotte will wave this time, whoever it is that comes by first between Allen and Banfield. It's John Allen's to throw away now, though. He's been consistent when it mattered. Decisive pit strategy put him a great undercut into the lead. Ross Banfield, quick all race, but just not enough where it mattered. The in-laps and the out-laps around the pit stop. He'll hold on to second place, but out of the final corners comes John Allen. He wins for the 4th time in ChampCar Sim Series 2019. Banfield will take second place. Can't be too disappointed by that. We'll have to wait some seconds before we see points leader Alex Albert come through. This will make the championship just that much tighter coming into the next round. These gentlemen know what's for play for, what the prizes are. A paid drive, a paid entry into a ChampCar Endurance Series race next year in a real endurance race. They want to win that. That's worth quite a lot to all of these guys. Now, John Allen is moving himself a little bit closer to that. Tom Ellison, I think, has come across and seen the checkered flag. So I believe has David Evans in 5th place. And of all of our cars that took the start, only half of them seeing that checkered flag, Aaron.
Yeah, only half of the cars, as we called at the start of this race. This track will eat your car alive, and it has eaten half the field here tonight. Yeah, kudos to Thomas Ellison with some very interesting fuel strategy. I think maybe took an issue, but Tom Ellison is always strong finish in P4 and literally coasting home. And David, it looks like the rest of our field has come through, and we are locked.
Yep. So our winner, John Allen. Pressure was on him in the end, and he did not crack. And that pressure came from 2nd place, Ross Banfield. 3rd place is Alex Albert. It all fell apart for him a little bit, but he'll still stand on the podium. 4th goes to Tom Allison, licking his wounds at the end of this one, but still a finish, a result, and some points. And that could be so crucial later on in the season. You just never know what could happen. 5th place. And congratulations, I guess, go to David Evans, who stayed out of enough trouble that he's grabbed 5th place, 6 positions gained from his grid slot. Will Robbins grabs 8th. Jacob Beenan gets 7th. 8th place and 5 laps off the lead is John Hurley, but I think that's a result for him. And then after that, it's retirements. Roy Deitch, Corey Brown, Chris Knisley, Alex Coffard, Tyler James, Brian Cheney, Justin Hall, and not taking the start, Kiri Morris and Lewis Morga. Aaron, I think we might try and see if we can grab a word with some of our drivers now.
Yeah, David, I'm working on that right now, and I'm going to... Yeah, David, I'm having a bit of trouble getting John D. Allen in the group. I'm going to need a bit of help.
Let's see if I can pull him into the commentary box. Do I have you, John?
Yes, sir.
First of all, congratulations in order. Great win, but there was a lot of pressure on you through the whole race, and especially towards the end as well.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of get it into a manage the gap mode, but Ross made that impossible. I started watching that gap whittle down, and with about 10 minutes to go, I had to turn the wick up a bit again, and it even cost me a little bit of a mistake. Caught the wall in the infield slightly, but lucky to not take any aero damage, so able to fend him off for about 5.
This circuit looked very difficult for a lot of our drivers. No forgiveness out there. No second chances with those walls, with those curves. Tell us about that, and if there was one corner around this circuit that maybe had you worried every lap, which would it be?
Yeah, I couldn't make a list of one. It's my first. It was my first laps around the new layout when I came in this evening, so I was sure to make it early in practice, knowing I had that hill to climb. And I would say the exit of the infield, back onto the high banks, and then obviously the snake pit's the usual suspect answer.
Indeed. Well, 4 wins now in the championship. It's very close at the pointy end, and you're making it even closer after this round. What are your expectations for the remainder of the series? And maybe this wasn't your favorite circuit, but is there a circuit still left on the calendar you're looking forward to?
I don't so much have favorites as I have a few that I despise, but I don't see them on the calendar, so we'll call it a wash. I'm getting more into it with each week. I cleared my schedule a couple weeks that I thought I might not make it, just from how fun the first couple weekends were, and now I'm in it to win it. I'm all the way in, and looking forward to pursuing a championship for sure.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that one. And while you are on the broadcast, anyone you might like to thank, any things like that?
Well, one that often gets overlooked but shouldn't, with the time we put in on these things, those of us who are married understand. I'd like to thank my wife for allowing me to spend so much time on here, but it really is tons of fun, and it's a new league to me, but I've made some friends quickly, and looking forward to meeting some of the some of the group in person at some of the races coming up this summer, either as a spectator, a crew, or maybe even a driver. So on the real world side of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a word with us. Congratulations on the win once again. We'll see you soon, no doubt. Looking forward to that. Aaron, I'm having a look and I'm not sure we can grab Ross Banfield. Let's maybe we can.
There he is. There he is, David. I was having some issues opening the broadcast booth door here. That has now been fixed. Ross, welcome to the booth, sir. Congratulations on a P2. We really enjoyed watching you drive tonight. Again, probably not the finish where you started, but man, fantastic drive, and we were really enjoying your very hard charge at the end of the race there to try and make up some time on John D. Allen. Talk about your night.
Yeah, so I just messed up the pit stop timing just a little bit. So I was trying to gain up some of the time with him, but I had to kind of make the decision at like the 7-minute mark to just back off and just kind of keep the pressure on him and hope for a mistake. But, he's pretty consistent, so there's nothing I could really do there. And the other part is just survive the snake pit, or I like to call it the dream crusher, as you saw, took out a lot of people.
Yeah, we actually like that name as well, Ross. The Dream Crusher. Yeah, we saw almost half the field succumb to attrition tonight. Talk us about some of the infield sections. Again, we really saw some of these drivers either be really strong in the infield or really strong in some of the chicane areas. Where did you see yourself being the fastest? Where did you feel like you were the fastest on this track?
It depends. I wasn't that consistent in the infield, but I definitely was quick in the infield. The problem is the infield is there's like a few different lines you can take, but you really got to set yourself up for that back straight into the snake pit. So it's basically how brave you are going into the snake pit. I found that was where I was catching John. I was basically gaining like a half second, and then I was losing a half second. We're kind of like trading back and forth between the infield and then the outside.
Yeah, we definitely saw that too. But again, Ross, we really enjoyed watching you with your drive tonight. Again, probably not where you wanted to come in, but you cannot be unhappy about a P2. So again, congratulations on the P2 tonight. Any thanks or shout outs before you head out of the booth tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank John and Alex for having a good time. We had a good race. It was good battling them, and also shout out to the V Apex Racing Group. They're good guys and had fun racing with them when I have the chance. So hopefully I'll catch you guys around soon.
You bet. Thank you, Ross. And David, it looks like Alex Albert has snuck into the booth. He's all yours.
Yeah, third place man, Alex Albert. Alex, you always knew this was going to be a very, very tough circuit. Third place when John gets first isn't the greatest for your championship aspirations, but it's certainly better than a DNF.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble there exiting the pit with some of that traffic during the stops, and had to take an extra stop there and use my fast repair. Luckily, I'd saved it, but that side-to-side contact just really hurt the car, and I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up with John, and I might crash if I stuck it out. So did the math and figured out I could get in and out before Tom came around, and did that, and then just tried to get third place points and move on to the next week.
If this track was a circuit of hell, which level would it be?
I'd say maybe a 3. Yeah, it's challenging. It's a lot of fun. If the cars didn't break so easy, I would enjoy it a lot more. I really, really enjoyed that final chicane. It's so much fun to throw it up on 2 wheels one way and then 2 wheels on the other. It's a blast.
Well, you got any goals for the remaining races? Is there any way you think you can try and pull the wool on Ross Banfield and on John Allen?
They're both going to be solid competitors, so I'm just going to have to try to race my race and do what I can. Next time's Watkins Glen. Get along pretty well there, so looking for a good run. And then I think after that is Mosport, and I like that one too. So hopefully these next couple tracks suit me a little better than tonight's track.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there for them as well. And I'll give you the opportunity, any shout outs you might want to deliver.
Yeah, just give a shout out to my wife. Thanks for all the support.
Awesome. Well, Aaron, I think that about wraps up coverage of round 6 of the ChampCar Sim Series 2019. Do you have any final thoughts on this one? Because we saw quite a bit of action, great battle for the lead, but it was not necessarily easy out there.
No, David, it's very similar to the previous race that we called here, which had just as much action and just as much carnage. You know, you really get humbled by this track, and you make one small error. I mean, you're literally, inches off your line that you can end your race. And we saw a couple cars have some big moments tonight, going airborne, T-boating, and some issues through the snake pit, even through some infield issues here. So, David, this track is an absolute blast to drive, but my goodness, will it punish you? So, fantastic effort by everyone who was able to complete the race tonight, and we are looking forward to another exciting week at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, indeed. That one's coming up not too far away, but what's next on HJBC is this Saturday coverage of the Super Sessions of the Fanatec GT Challenge. That'll be giving away $1,000 of iRacing credits, so I'm sure that'll also be very, very hotly contested. Catch that one. And then Sunday is Reddit iRacing League. So plenty of racing coming up here on HJBC, your home of Reddit iRacing League, your home of the ChampCar Sim Series. If you're not, do subscribe because we don't want you to miss any of that. And if you're a regular, thank you so much for watching. I've been David Haynes. It's been Aaron Thacker, and our producer Michael Derby. The graphics, the overlays, a fantastic job as always. We'll see you again soon.